What's shaking YouTube? Not a happy camper tonight. Because the Leafs lost to the douche baggery collection that are the Montreal Canadiens. Today, or I guess technically yesterday, now that it's after midnight, was a Hockey Day in Canada, a yearly event where CBC, Sportsnet, and all that stuff have a whole plethora of programming and stuff with relation to our great game up north here, and also have a number of televised games, NHL games throughout the day. So on Hockey Day in Canada, I always like to try and make it a hockey kind of day, right? So James and I, we what did we start with? We started once he actually woke up this morning. We played a game of NHL 18 on the PS4, then a game of NHL 20, which you'll see in my gameplay downloads or uploads. Sorry. Then we went outside in the backyard in the snow and played some ball hockey in the backyard. When we came back in, we then got onto the PS3 and played a game of NHL 12. Then we played some air hockey on our little table here, and also some classic rod hockey. And then, of course, we watched the Leafs and the Habs. So it was a full day of hockey. And I just finished a game of NHL 2K11 on the Wii as well. So it's just hockey all day long. The only thing that went wrong with it all was that the Leafs didn't win. So they had a much better start than they had in the previous two games against Montreal and Vancouver. And I kind of predicted that they'd have a really good game tonight, and it looked like it was going to go that way. They had a really good first period. They came out with a lot of pace, a lot of determination, and they got on the board first as well. They kind of got it into the Montreal end, and it went down low, and Matthews was battling with one of their defensemen and eventually came out with the loose puck. He won the puck battle, got it out front to Marner, who then put it past Price, and they were up 1-0. And second period got a little more even, but I think the Leafs still had the advantage. But Montreal, you could tell they were coming on a little bit. But I still thought that they were the better team, and they were having a much better overall full game so far than they had against Montreal and Vancouver previously, because they had such a slow start in the first couple periods in each of those games and had to win it in the third period, right? This was kind of the opposite. They kind of let it go, and they didn't play kind of the full 60. And in the third period, they really slowed down and couldn't really get much going. And Montreal came on, and they tied it early in the third, and then eventually got one with just a few minutes left to take a 2-1 lead. And the Leafs pulled Anderson for an extra attacker, but they couldn't even really get anything going then either. So I don't know if I credit Montreal for coming on too strong, or if it was just a matter of the Leafs kind of losing their mojo there for some reason in the third period. Because I don't like to credit Montreal for anything, really, because they're overrated. Everybody's been raving about how good they are and all the changes they made. Well, they've also played Vancouver a lot so far to start this season, as well as Ottawa a bit. So I think their record's a little more inflated than it should be. Now, they did beat Toronto tonight, but it was 2-1. The Leafs were the better team for two periods and found a way to lose it in the third. So this was kind of a step backwards in a way, because they'd had these bad starts, but managed to keep battling and stay in the game and eventually win it in the third. Whereas this one, and they'd been good previously too about locking down leads in the third period, but this one they just kind of let it go and kind of regressed into some kind of the way they blew games in the third period in the previous few years and stuff like that. So not sure how much I'm reading into it, but yeah, I do fully expect, after they kind of sagged there in the third and let this game go, that their effort in the next game is going to be a lot more consistent throughout the 60 minutes. I noticed they did get out hit a lot tonight, which Simmons is a really big key piece that they're missing right now. His presence in that game alone would have kept a lot of things in check, I think, because you got guys like Josh Anderson running around trying to take out Muzzin, and he kept missing them. And I think having a guy like Simmons in your lineup really kind of can discourage that. Guys might run around for a bit, but he might step in and throw some big bombs himself and get in a fight and cut some of that nonsense out. So I really hope, of all the guys they have out right now, like I miss Joe Thornton, of course, too, but I think Simmons is the most key guy right now. They need to get back in the lineup. So, and because of these injuries, they've been shuffling the lines a bit and stuff like that too, and it seems to be an ongoing thing. So I don't know if Keefe has been able to find the combinations that he really likes yet. So, secondary scoring is another thing that's gonna be a factor, as it is every year. So they last game they had great secondary scoring. You know, they had 2 goals by a defenseman who hadn't scored in over a year each, or maybe Hull was a little under a year, but and then Mikheyev, who hadn't scored in a long time as well. You know, he was injured for a long time as well, so that doesn't really help. But you know, they got a lot of secondary scoring in that game, all secondary scoring, and the big guys didn't score at all. And then tonight, the big guys get the 1 goal they got, but nobody else could do anything. So they really need to find a way to get a little more consistency in scoring through their bottom, you know, couple lines there. So, but yeah, you know what? I'm not too worried. You know, it's hard to win every game in any league, especially the NHL. It's impossible. So, you know, you're gonna lose some. It just sucks that it comes against Montreal, who, you know, Montreal fans are probably like, oh, you're not better than us, you know, oh, we beat you tonight, you know, there'll be all this kind of talk, right? And, well, I can't wait till next game, let's just say that. So, it is what it is, it was what it was, it will be what it shall be. So, not happy about the loss, but maybe it'll provide a little bit of fuel for their next game and make them come out with a little more fire. So we will find out soon enough. Have a great late night, early morning. Peace.